Hello, I have received a few requests on how to create a keyboard shortcut that inserts F5 timestamps into pages. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to exactly do that. To get started, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need to have pages installed on your Mac computer. You're also going to need to have F5 installed, and you can install that straight from the App Store. And finally, you're going to need Keyboard Maestro. So for Keyboard Maestro, you can get it from Chrome. Just type in www.keyboardmaestro.com and click on download, and you get the Keyboard Maestro. Now you will not need to purchase a license for this tutorial, but later on, if you do need to use the Keyboard Maestro for other uses, it's a pretty handy program. You can come back here and purchase a new license for it. But once you've downloaded it, you can install it into your Mac. I'm not going to run you through that. I expect that you all know how to install applications onto your Mac computer. If you don't, there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to install Mac applications on your Mac. So those are the three things that you're going to need: Keyboard Maestro, F5, and Pages. Now let's go back to Pages. Okay, so now back to Pages. Now I don't think I have my Keyboard Maestro on, and so let's find it. Okay, here you go. Grab it on, and there it goes. All right, so the first time that you start Keyboard Maestro, you're going to have this screen, which is a startup screen. You can do this tutorial and just learn what you can do with Keyboard Maestro and so forth, but for this tutorial you really don't need this. So I'm going to just click on start tutorial, and I'm gonna click it off. So here's a window for Keyboard Maestro, and basically what we are going to do is we are going to create a macro. That macro is going to be triggered, get started by a key. So whenever you press that key, that macro will run, and that macro has a set of actions that will insert the timestamp onto your Pages document. So the macro will have the actions that need to insert the timestamp into your Pages document, but we'll only trigger it using one shortcut key. And so that's what we are going to do. To get started, what you need to do is create the macro. So click on this plus button at the bottom, which is for add macro. Okay, now you can see it automatically comes in here in the macro section. It's untitled. We are going to call this F5 timestamps. You can choose whatever name you want to call it, that it's easy for you to remember the macro name. Okay, now we have that. Second thing we need to do is give it a trigger. You can use a lot of triggers to run the macro, but we are going to use a hotkey. So click on hotkey. Now for this hotkey, I'm going to use F8. So every time I hit the F8 key, I want the timestamp inserted into my Pages document. Now you can use a lot of other keys, but I like using the function keys because I'm so used to using the function keys in my transcription. So I like using the function keys. I would probably recommend that you use F8, just a recommendation. But play around. You can use whatever key you want and see if it works. Some keys are already being used by other programs, so they're not going to work, and you're going to have weird things happen if you use other keys. But F8 is what I use, and it works pretty well for me. So that's what I'm going to use, F8. Once I've set out the trigger, so this is what the key that I'm going to press to run the macro. What I need to do next is what are the actions that I need to set up, okay? And those actions are going to come down here. Now, I'm not going to use this window. I could use it, but I'm not going to use that because it's a little bit complicated. The easiest way to do this is to use the record button right here. Because you are going to run through the actions that you need to, and it's going to populate this with the actions that are going to be in the macro. Now we have our Pages. This is where we want the timestamp to be installed. So let's record the macro. Okay, so you just click on record. It starts recording. Go to your Pages document. Okay, started. Now you're in Pages. Start at Pages because that's where we want the macro to be inserted. I'm going to use my command and my tab key to move to my windows. So I want to go to F5. So once we're in F5, what we need to do is basically just get the timestamp of the audio file. And we do that. The shortcut key for doing that is Control T. So that's the default shortcut key in F5 that pastes the timestamp of the audio into this window. Now, if you do want to find all the other shortcut keys, I'm going to pause my recording here because I don't want it to record everything that I'm going to show you next. You go to transcription preferences, and then here are all the hotkeys that you can use in F5. But you already know this. If you have used this program before, then you already know where the hotkeys are. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let's go back to the recording. So that is what we want. We want to get that timestamp from there into pages. Now what you're going to do next is you're going to select it, which is Command A, and then we're going to copy it, Command C. Then we are going to move to pages. I'm going to use the Control tab, Command tab to go to pages, which was my pages document. My pages document is there. Then I'm going to paste it, which is Command V. And that's it. We are done creating the macro. And just double click on the recording tab. That stops the macro. And now let's go to Keyboard Maestro here and see what has happened. What are the actions that we have? So the first thing that we have done is we have activated pages. Okay, this is the first action that we did. Now it's probably good to leave it in there because if pages is not active, then you do want to activate your pages because that's why you want to paste the timestamp. But you can actually delete this. But I'm going to leave it there. I don't think it's going to change much. So we activate F5. This is the free one that I've installed on this Mac. And then we're going to send the keystroke. Okay, Control T that gets the timestamp, and then Control A. Okay, now I need to delete this keystroke because I pressed it. So just select it. I know this should not be in there. Just click on minus. Okay, so I don't want that. Then Command A, Command C, activate pages, Command B. Okay, so let me minimize this so that we can exactly see what can clearly see what you're going to need. So these are the actions that are going to be in the macro, and your macro should have all these actions. It should activate pages. Then after activating pages, it should activate F5. After activating F5, you should type the Control T keystroke in F5, then the Command A to select the timestamp. This gives you the timestamp. This selects the timestamps. This copies the timestamp. Activates pages is the next action that follows that, and then Control V that pastes the timestamp into your pages document, and that's the end of that. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actions that you need to have in your macro, right? And so we want to test if this works. Okay, so let's go back to pages. All right, now where do I want to start my timestamp there, my next timestamp. Press F8, and there you go. Where I am in the audio, here's the timestamp, and by pressing one key, the F8 key, which I set as my hotkey, so just pressing one key. Let me do it again. You just see a flash as we activate the F5 and then get the timestamp, and we are back here. So that's how you do it. This will probably work with any other word processor that you have on your Mac. So it will probably work on Word. You just have to start the process with the Word document open. It could probably work with any other word processor that you use on your Mac computer. Should probably work. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below as always, and I'll be happy to answer them. Happy transcribing.